is one principle that's really fascinating when it comes to artwork and quantum physics. And now they're discovering it in all sorts of therapies for medicine and chemistry. It's called the entourage effect. I used to think it was some kind of parade or milieu or following or something. And I was wrong. It was a misnomer, my entourage effect. I've heard of it. And then I discovered that some doctors were talking about it in certain remedies. So, when I discovered it in art, and this goes into this non-locality principle in quantum physics where everything affects everything else, however remotely. However. Now, a few years back, I started working on smaller paintings because I was developing painting techniques, which I'll go into in another segment. And I was working with less mediums and just more paint and more impasto. So I was working with sticks, long story short. And then I was sculpting with paint, and then I'd have it dried. And but most of my work was alla prima, or just in one setting and doing a lot of thick paint with styluses rather than brushes. I got tired of maintaining brushes. Brushes are great. I just didn't like cleaning them after a while, so I started working with implements. Now, where was I? So, this entourage effect. So I have all these paintings all over my studio. This was up in the Northwest. I had a little room there, and I had all these easels out. Now, this is more of a cohesive theme, but these were just paintings that I was experimenting with, just for painting. And they all started to not look like each other, because that wasn't the point. The point was to get different looks and energies in them. But they started to affect each other in a more nuanced fashion that I began to notice, and I began to call this my star chamber. And I'd sit in this corner, and there'd be way more than this. There'd be just a bunch of them, and they're all out. And these are my reference materials. Now, I can have photos that I'm looking on for commissions. I was doing boats. I had to study plans. I remember doing ship commissions from architectural drawings. That's what I had to do. I had to earn some money. Well, I could do that. I did it. I did everything that I could possibly do. If people had a need that they were paying me for, I kind of learned how to do a little bit of everything, and I learned how to do that. But I had that kind of background. But anyway, what I discovered with this entourage effect was very interesting, because as I became less and less influenced by the culture, by this matrix, by all these machines like cameras and TVs and the internet even, and everything, and I just went out and sketched with nature, and I did abstracts and all that, and I got away from the mechanics of existence and got into this more of a wave. And so I got away from this particle and into this wave. And my artwork began to influence my artwork. And I call it, I was plagiarizing myself. I have some other paintings and all that I'm not showing here, but I'll have exhibited this summer. But I'm not going to show them here. They're not that relevant. They're just cool. But anyway, these all affect each other. And then I got a big commission for doing a theme of Route 66, which I had to tie all these illustrations together for a narrative of a compilation. And that set me on the road for composing a theme about quantum physics and light and perception. I figured, well, I'll put them together so as I display them, they're all influencing some. So when I'm working on one, I'm working on them all. And when I'm working on them all, I'm working on them all. And it even says that on the back of your Federal Reserve notes in Latin. Out of one, many, and many, one. That's what it means. It's the entourage effect. It's what you're influenced by. I had a little piece of calendar art. I'm working on a big painting. It's an abstract. I have a little calendar way over here on a reference table. It was a big commission. A lot of color, just, copied kind of another abstract. I have a little calendar way back here on a reference table of a little landscape painting. It's a calendar from a gallery. A little painting over there. I'm not even looking at that thing, but by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, that little thing was showing up in that painting. I wasn't even looking at it. Doesn't matter. I went downstairs to my friend's living room one day, and he had the news on, and I said, that stuff's really bad for you. He says, I don't pay any attention to it. And I said, well, that doesn't mean it doesn't pay any attention to you. That's quantum physics also. Uh-oh, I'm off, I think. See you later.